Yo, what's going on, guys? Egal Talks Football, and I'm back again with another video. Hope everybody's doing well. Big up everybody in the chat. I got Dan Lawless in the house today. If you guys don't know, I'm a big West Ham fan. Dan, how you doing, man? Busy day today.
Yeah, man, busy day. Like I said, I was on DR Sports, had the pleasure of watching Spurs lose to Bournemouth in dramatic fashion. So I just got back from your ends, North London, from the Arsenal territory. So yeah, man, feeling good about that.
Let me know, what is it with you and Tottenham? Because everybody hates Tottenham, but what is it with West Ham and Tottenham? Why do you guys hate them? Because we know why we hate them. They're North London rivals, but like, what about you guys?
Yeah, obviously Millwall are our main rival, but we don't really ever get to play them. So Spurs are that next team that we've always hated. A lot of it goes back to like 70s and 80s times. A lot of deep-rooted hatred there between like the two fan bases, especially during hooliganism days. And yeah, their fan base, you know, they're a fan base that don't really win things, but they look down on us for not really winning things. And it's just like they have no self-awareness. The biggest mouths and the emptiest trophy cabinets for where they claim to be.
There you go, guys. The show's already started. Interesting. And you know, we got what we're going to talk about, the West Ham game. We're going to talk about Declan Rice to Arsenal potentially. We're also going to see how many Arsenal fringe players Dan will be interested in purchasing. We're going to do a little game there. And we'll also take a trip down memory lane, look at all the fixtures, everything else. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button in the comments right now. Let me know what you think the score prediction is going to be for Arsenal versus West Ham. And if you're watching on the playback, let me know what you guys think right now. Let's get the show started. Big up. You see, people already showing you some love, Dan. We got someone here saying, yo, if Millwall go up and get promoted, will you be headed down to the den?
Yeah, listen. Old Thunder Road there, he drops in our stream sometimes. Why wouldn't I go to the den? Why wouldn't I? If I get a ticket, I'm there, mate. I'm there. Don't worry about it. Listen, I was in Zagreb, man. Them fans, crazy.
Ooh.
Absolutely crazy.
Where is that? Serbia? No, that's Croatia.
Croatia, yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Croatia, man. I went to Split for my honeymoon. It's nice.
Oh, really? That's where Slaven Bilic is from.
Is it?
Sick. Yeah, Slaven Bilic. He that's his boyhood team.
Yo, that would be a crazy rivalry to see in the Premier League. I haven't seen Millwall in the Premier League in how long? Like, I don't remember.
Probably like, yeah. I can't even remember actually, because last time we played him was when we was in the Championship. It's got to be 90s or something.
Crazy. But yo, let's talk about your season, because West Ham just a year ago, bro, you guys were flying, top 4 shouts, Champions League football shouts, potentially winning the Europa League shouts, and then it just slowly dwindles away to Conference League. Now you're near the bottom in the Premier League, and it's like, people used to look at all your players and say, you know what, I want this guy, I want that guy, I want this guy, I want that guy. But it kind of seems like similar to how the form of Jared Bowen has declined a little bit. It seems like your whole team kind of went the same way as his form.
Yes, do you know what it comes down to? Not capitalizing and not building on success. You know, that 2 seasons ago, not last season before, we was leading the race for top 4 up until like February times, whatever, March. We was in top 4, and then didn't refresh in January, didn't bring the right players in to help get us over the line, and we finished 6th ultimately. And then the next season, like last season, we're in Europa League, we're trying to compete in Premier League and Europa League. January comes, the squad is thin, we're squeezing everything we can out of it, and we go, we'll wait till the summer to get the striker in, to get this player in. And ultimately, you know, we was in the driving seat in January. We was in top 4, didn't get the players in, and fizzled out. And now it's just too late. It's too late. Moyes has tried to change things with the team, tried to change how we play, and it's just not working out. He only has one way to play. That's it.
Do you want Moyes out? By the way, people, hit that like button. We got 18 of you guys in the chat right now. Did you ever want Moyes out, or were you always one of these people, give the manager time?
I was one of the first to go Moyes Out. I went from early, like maybe from October was when I started to really get on this. I never wanted him back in the first place, and that's not me trying to say, oh, I knew all along. I just didn't enjoy his first time with us, like the football he played, and I wasn't excited. He definitely overachieved, and I got to the point where I was like, fair play, I was wrong, but and he had them 2 good seasons, but I recognize he's not the man to take us forward. It doesn't matter, yes, he got us into Europe, and we haven't been in Europe in God knows how long, and he got us to a semi-final, but he's not the man to take us forward for the future of the club. He's just, honestly, I can't stand him. I can't stand David Moyes.
You know what? There's a lot of questions being asked in the comment section. First one, Jared Bowen, what happened to him? He was just being quoted for 100 million just last year. Now it seems like guy is very hot and cold.
Yeah, he's been one of the ones that, like, earlier on in the start of the season, he just wasn't doing it. He just seemed like, I don't know, like he'd lost his head a bit. Like the player is still there. You still see the quality player, but his decision making at times, his confidence has lacked and he improved slowly, and he sort of got back to where he was as close to. But yeah, he has dropped off. I still think he's that quality player, and if we get, a better manager in who can energize this flipping team, I think he'll be that quality Bowen we saw last season.
So are you saying Moyes got to go? Like, are you saying you want him out now, or what is it?
Listen, I was saying Moyes has to go October, November, right? When we had the World Cup, because I was like, that's a perfect chance. Get him out now. Get a new manager in. I was Moyes out January, February. But the point where we're getting to now, it's almost pointless. We've just left it too late. I just don't see the point. Unless we're like really panic stations, free fall, we're just dropping like a stone, and we're like, nah, if we keep this guy, we're definitely going down. I just wait till the end of the season. Like I said, whatever happens, we win the Conference League, he keeps us up, he's still got to go for me, regardless.
What about the thing? People are going to say, look at how it ended up for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. Obviously, it's a little different, but just not too long ago, you guys were doing things you didn't expect a couple of years ago, where you're competing in many competitions. I think you guys got far in one of the cup competitions also in England, in addition to the European competitions. And is it the fact that now he's raised expectations, that he's basically suffering from his own success?
I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because he would say that, and he has said that. Our expectations have never, ever, ever been to be in a relegation battle, to be just happening to stay up, right? We've sacked countless managers for worse. Avram Grant was in a better position than Moyes is now, and we look at him as one of our worst ever managers. We've sacked so many people for less than what we're keeping him from. It's not like we're sitting there and going like, oh, we should be back up near the top 4 again, and we should be here. But to be as bad as we are, like, if there was a drop off and we were like mid-table or something, then you look at it and go, okay, sometimes you go backwards to go forwards. Sometimes you can't always just stay up there. You just got to get these new players in, let them gel, let them bed the next season. But to be so close to relegation as we've been this season, and to play as badly as we have, and to win as few games as we have, it's unacceptable for any club. Look, we're the only club, apart from Nottingham Forest, that have been down there that haven't sacked their manager. Everyone, like flipping Leicester, Everton, Southampton, Bournemouth, even fucking Chelsea have sacked 2 managers. So it's, any club would feel the same, but we've just been too stale. So yeah, he'd like to say he's raised expectations, but it's disingenuous. We've never ever accepted this. Even up
your last relegation was in 2010, 2011 season, or 2011, 2012 season, right?
Yeah, under Avram Grant. Yeah. And
are you worried about relegation? Like, are you genuinely worried about it? Because I there's a lot of comments in the comment section. This part of the show is usually where we just ask you what you're saying. Some people throwing out some comments like Thomas Suchek, one season wonder. I remember West Ham fans calling him the Czech Gerrard. I don't know. Did you guys call him that?
We never called him that. What is he talking about? They never, ever, ever
called him. He's pulling your leg then.
He is. He is. We never called him the Czech Gerrard. We loved him because he's a warrior. He works hard and he was banging in the goals. But now we play a different way. We don't play on that counter attack where we have him making late runs into the box. When we're trying to be more possession based, he can't do it. He's not good with the ball to his feet, and he can't pass. And just quickly on what you said about Arteta, right? The differences, and I think like that's going to be the thing
benchmark.
now. Because when it was Klopp, right, and people was looking how Klopp didn't start, everyone was using Klopp as that, like, oh well, look what happened with Klopp. They finished like 8th in his first season. With Arteta, you could look at it and go, yeah, okay, maybe sometimes having patience. And look, I've been a critic of Arteta as a neutral. He's done a great job this season. I'm still reserving judgment to see if he can sustain it over multiple seasons. But at the same time, you could see, even when you were crap under Arteta, you can see he's trying stuff. He's making changes. He's being tough where he needs to be tough. He's getting players out he needs to get out. You can see he's trying to do something. He's trying to make changes. Whereas Moyes is just stagnant. He's just stuck in his ways, picks the same players regardless, and just refuses to change. And he's just honestly a miserable person to play under. The football is terrible. So I can't see. And Arteta is young as well. At least Arteta, you can look at it and go, he's learning. Moyes is, before Roy Hodgson came in, was the oldest manager in the league before Roy Hodgson came in.
Arteta credits Arsene Wenger, Pep, and David Moyes as some of the people who he's learned under. Of course, he's learned under a lot of people, but like he I'll tell you this: when his first season, when he was playing at Arsenal, it looked like a Moyes team. The way they were playing, 3 at the back, defensive, counter. It looked like a similar old-fashioned Moyes Everton team where you try to play pragmatic football. But then we've now transitioned into this team and the way that he wants us to play, closer to what the Pep model.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, because that worked in your favor, because when he went defensively, you was beating Man City's and Liverpool's because teams, weren't expecting it. They couldn't deal with it, couldn't figure it out. And then he evolved. Yep. Moyes hasn't evolved. That's the problem. He's still playing that same way. He's looked at it and goes, yeah, we're going to try and be a possession-based team. We have not had the majority of the possession in nearly every game we've played. We've had less possession than the opposite team. So he has one way of playing. That is it. It's just we've taken away our set-piece goals, because set pieces, last season before, we was like top of the league for scoring from set pieces. This season, we've scored, I think, 2 or 3 set-piece goals.
Would you have taken Unai Emery? Look at what he's doing at Villa. Amazing. Absolutely killing it.
I said when they signed him, when they made the announcement, how jealous I was of them getting Unai Emery. Because I do think, he
would have won you guys the Conference League. I really do believe it.
He would have got us Europa League. We actually went in for him in 2015 before Slaven Bilic.
You think he's going to win you the Europa League?
No, I think Unai Emery would have last season. Wow. I'm saying if we'd had him instead of Moyes. I think.
Did you get knocked out of the Europa League?
Yeah, we would have got knocked out in the semi-final by Frankfurt.
Damn.
But yeah, we actually approached Unai Emery in 2015, but he just got Sevilla in the Champions League and he wanted to continue with that project. So he stayed at Sevilla, then ultimately, done that. Then you came in for him. He went to you guys, went to Valencia, then Villa just got him at the right time, man. If we could have got him, man, that would be us up there.
They're six right now. They're flying. We're going to talk about the relegation in a second. But before we do that, people, make sure you do hit that like button. We got one more question flying in for you about Paqueta. Sorry, guys. I am sick as a dog today.
Oh, jeez.
But Paqueta, talk to me about Paqueta. Expectations were high. What happened to him?
Yeah, obviously, he was linked to Arsenal before we even, looked at.
You guys celebrated that like you want, like that was a big moment for you guys, getting a player over us. Let's be honest. Newcastle did it. You guys did it, and it was like, wow, we got this Brazilian, amazing, right? You're loving it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're gonna do that, and I think he is a quality player. I really do. I watch him, and I think, man, in a good team, what this guy could offer. Moyes signed him And a lot of people are looking at that and going, yeah, Man City. We'll see what's happening after tomorrow's game.
We're gonna get into Man City in a second.
But yeah, like Moyes signed him, and when he signed him, he was like, yeah, we're hoping he can, replicate a bit of what Dimitri Payet, be another Dimitri Payet for us, right? And played him in a number 10 role. It showed he had completely no idea who Paqueta was, how he plays, what his strengths are at all. He just looked at him, oh yeah, he's Brazilian, he's a flair player. He's not that player, he's not a playmaker. And then it took him till January to start playing him next to Rice in the number 8 role. And lo and behold, we start to see Paqueta flourish, but he's still playing in a shit team. So I think his quality, and people will look at it on the outside and go, oh, he's flopped. But again, he's coming to a new league, played out position for a lot of the time under a defensive manager. What are we expecting?
People were expecting, I'll tell you this. For me, I was expecting Paqueta to come in and be a similar difference maker to what Bruno did for Newcastle. Just take away everything else that Newcastle might have ahead of you guys. You guys weren't too far away from each other. They were in a relegation battle just a year ago. But to be honest, to say that what Bruno did for them, I thought Lucas Paqueta would have been able to do for you also.
Put Bruno in the Steve Bruce team at Newcastle and then see how he does.
Okay, so that's what you're comparing thing. But Paqueta, would you sell Paqueta?
No, listen, I'd keep him if we get a new manager. I really would keep him. I think he's quality. I think if you guys signed him, he would have been quality for Arsenal. He'd have been class. He'd have been really good.
So you don't use him right. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't think we use him right. Imagine you had him and Partey playing next to each other.
In the Xhaka role, he'd be killing it.
Yeah, in the Xhaka role, yeah. He would be balling. I'm telling you.
Okay. So before we go into relegation and everything, we got to talk about Declan Rice. I seen tweets from you saying this is tapping up. This is illegal. What we're doing with Declan Rice is borderline like cheating. Am I rephrasing your words too much, or is
no,
that
you're in the ballpark basically?
Because I'll tell you this right now, we have photos of Declan Rice already wearing Arsenal kits, ready to go for next season, and like I know this might hurt you a little bit because he's your club captain, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember being on streams with you just last year where you were sticking it on us because we were struggling at the beginning of the season, and you guys were in top four at moments in the league. And how many times have you seen that picture of Mikel Arteta hugging Declan Rice on the timeline? And you must get pissed off every time you see it.
What about that clip, of I think it was Rice was talking to Zinchenko or something.
Yep. I did a TikTok on that.
It was all lip reading. Oh, he said, "Don't worry, I'm coming soon," or so. Like everyone's turning into expert lip readers at Arsenal.
You must hate that.
It's just one of that. You're like, oh, this typical Arsenal. Typical Arsenal, that honestly.
Yo, Jack, that's the final straw, bro. You can't do stuff like that. Come on, man. Have some sympathy for people, man. You can't be doing stuff like that. But yo, let's continue. I'm just gonna say this. I want to know what's your stance on the whole Declan Rice thing to Arsenal, because it seems like we already have a pre-agreement with the player. We've already spoken to intermediates to how much he might want and how much he might want to come over to Arsenal. And it right now, it just seems like the final nail is just agreeing a price with you guys. How much would you sell him for? How much do you think is fair? And are you sick and tired of seeing these type of images? I'm not trying to rub it in. I swear to God.
It's what fans, I say it's typical Arsenal. It's what football fans do around transfers. Do you know what I mean? They take every little thing and use it as evidence. Like, oh, look, he's hugging, and Arteta's whispering, like, I'll see you in the summer, and make up all of these fantasies, right? Listen, I spoke to someone very well connected with the club about this because a few Arsenal fans were saying, oh, like exactly what you said. Oh, he's pre-agreement. He's already said this. I went, let me ask him. I said, look, I'm being told Rice has agreed to go. He's told the club. He spoke to Arsenal. They've agreed it. This is what they've said. This is what he said to me. And I trust this guy. He gets a lot right. The whole agreement stuff is rubbish. Like, according to the club, there's no agreement. There's no deal done. But at the moment, Arsenal are the club that have showed the most interest Arsenal are at the front at the moment. They're the forerunners. You know, and no other club at the moment has really showed as much interest as Arsenal. So that's where it stands. Rice hasn't agreed a deal. He hasn't agreed to go. So
have you spoken to West Ham?
What's that?
I heard in the summer in January we spoke to West Ham, seeing if they would be interested in selling him.
Yeah, and I think a few clubs did like that time, and obviously we was not going to do that. But there's no pre-agreement. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense for us to say the first club that comes along, we're going to offer you this, or Rice to go, because there's going to be a bidding war in the summer. It's going to happen, and it's just going to drive the price up. If we just take the first offer, the first club, we're massively weakening our hand. So as far as I'm concerned, like, because people as well, a lot of people misunderstand where they think Rice has got 1 year left on his deal. It'll go for free next season. No, he's got 1 year deal with a 1 year option that we have. We have an option to extend it for another year.
Oh.
So if we choose, we can exercise that second year, basically. So it's effectively 2 years. So he's not, if he doesn't sign for it, we can just extend it. And he's basically essentially there for 2 years unless we sell him.
Do you think he feels like he's stuck there, or he loves it at West Ham and he wouldn't be offended by you guys keeping him from getting a move?
No, I think, like, the thing is, he's professional, he's young, he signed his deal. He's not wanted to sign a new one, but as far everything that I've heard said that, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he would like that move, a big move, Champions League, competing for trophies, all of that. But if it doesn't happen now, he's not the type of player to throw his toys out of the pram. He's not going to do a Harry Kane. He's still in his early 20s. If he stays another year or 2 years, he's still not even hit his prime years yet, and so he still has plenty of time to win it. So I think if the move doesn't happen, he's just going to get on with it and be a professional.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this right here. When it comes to Declan Rice, this is what I'm hearing. That the deal for Declan Rice in the summer is like 100% going to happen, or it's on the works of happening. And these are the kind of things that I'm seeing on a regular basis, Dan. I'm seeing this every single week, almost new updates every single week of the same regurgitated story. Declan Rice is looking increasingly possible in the summer. The English international suits Arsenal. He wants to stay in London. That is a key thing that I'm hearing. He wants to stay in London.
But if you look at it, right, that's easy. This is what a lot of these accounts do. Right? I'm not having a go at the guy, but this is just a football Twitter thing, right? And tabloids and the media do this all the time. Is you look at the things that are likely. Okay, Declan Rice, he's lived in London all of his life. He probably want to stay there. That sounds reasonable. He knows some of the players at Arsenal. Yeah, so maybe he'd want to play with them. Arsenal will have Champions League. You start collecting things without actually speaking to anyone, without speaking to Rice, without speaking to his agent or his family, without speaking to West Ham. On the outside looking in, you start to put these dots together and make up the story and make it sound like like it's very clever guesswork everyone does it. The media, Twitter accounts, yeah, that's what they do. It's not hard to look at that and go, yeah, that's a big reach. Who wouldn't want Declan Rice? And
I just think at this moment in time, it's not going to be a situation where I don't think it's a situation where you're going to have. I just don't think it's a situation where you're going to see any Chelsea coming in taking him away from us. I don't think you're going to see Liverpool taking him away from us because they need so much other players. I feel like we have a clear free hit to go get him, and that's just going to make it a little bit easier for us to go get the deal over the line. And I do think we're in the driving seat, but the relationship with West Ham we have to make sure we don't spoil it. We don't do anything that's disgusting or like behind your back. I just feel like we're speaking to intermediates, and that's what everyone does. So when you're saying comments like, oh, I think this is cheating, I just wanted to say, I think every club does this. People are speaking to Jude Bellingham all season.
That's the thing where people go, oh yeah, it happens all the time, right? And look, what I said was, if it's true that they've spoke to the player, and the stories was that they spoke to Declan Rice, right? And Declan Rice has agreed to go. He's given Mikel Arteta, his word, all of this stuff. I said, that's tapping up. You go and you look at the laws of the game, the rules, it's tapping up. So many people said to me, everyone does it, happens all the time, right? Everyone dives, yeah? Everyone cheats. We still complain about it. We're still up in arms. And it happens. Referees, right? How many times we complain about referees and VR decisions? Happens all the time. It doesn't make it right just because it happens all the time, does it? We're still going to keep complaining about it. How many seasons that times this season has everyone, Arsenal fans especially, complained about referee decisions of VAR?
Bro, a referee got sacked because of us. So I completely get your frustration, and I just wanted to talk about it quickly. But
Yeah,
yo,
no.
people, continue to hit that like button. We got 60 people in the chat right now. Hit that like button. People asking me about Terry. Terry's my boy. We just did a video. I just did a video yesterday because he tried to slander my name, say I was making fun of Manchester United players' injuries, but that was not true at all. Anyways, it is what it is. We keep it moving. It's not that deep. But when it comes to this game right here, before the game, is this a must-win for you guys because of the league position that you guys are in? Because it's a must-win for us, and we're going to get onto Arsenal in a bit. We're going to spend the second half talking about both of our clubs. But just looking at the fixtures itself and looking at everything around the fixture, you can't stop but look at the league table position of the two clubs and be like, you know what? This is crazy. You guys are in 15th, we're in first, and it's like it's just nuts. I would have never imagined that we would be first in this point of the season, and I also would have never imagined you guys would be 15th. I didn't think I would ever see you guys in a relegation battle at this point of the season. Most of the time, it would be early in the season, and you'd be like, you know what, they're going to get out of it. West Ham are too big to go down. But are you actually worried about going down?
I'm not as worried as I was before. Now I'm a little bit more confident we'll stay up. Just when I look at the running of games everyone has, I think we've just got that little bit of quality that other teams don't have. So I think we'll stay up, but I'm still worried. We're 3 points off of it, so I can't be comfortable. Our game in hand is against, well, look, we've got 2 games in hand and Everton. One's Arsenal, one's Man City. You know what I mean? So there you go. But apart from that, we've got some very winnable games. We've still got Leicester to play. We've still got Bournemouth to play. We've still got Leeds to play. So yeah, I'm not so worried like that. But when I think about tomorrow's game, I wouldn't call it must win. It would be a huge win. It'd be massive. Honestly, it'd be monumental. If we won that game, we're effectively safe. It sends a big message to the teams around us. And it really sort of energizes the team and the fans. So it's not must win, but it could be a huge win. If we lose this game, which we're expected to, right? No one's expecting us to get anything from this game, right? It's fine because we weren't expected to. It's the games, those other games. It's the Leicesters, the Leeds, the Bournemouths. They're the games that are must win.
Bournemouth surprised me today. They beat Nottingham Forest versus Man United on tomorrow. If they beat Man United, these teams you have to worry about at the bottom of the table. But you know what? Where you have to worry about these guys potentially winning on the rare occasion, I have to worry about Man City winning every game. These guys are unstoppable, bro. They just win every game. I've now become accustomed to turning off the TV after a 2-goal lead because there's no point. They're going to score another goal or the game's just wrapped up. It's not like where you're watching Chelsea or Man United or Tottenham where they're 2-0 up. You don't think they're going to. Funny enough, that happened to us last week where we were 2-0 up. Probably a lot of people turn off their TV versus Liverpool. And the next thing you know, we concede a goal and the game's open back up. It can happen on the rare occasion, but it doesn't happen to City. What do you think about the title race? What do you think about Arsenal season? Let me know where you stand on that because that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. And maybe just tell me a little bit about what you think about our season so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a crazy season. It has been like no one was expecting it. And even like you, who's like one of the most positive, flag waving Arsenal fan, would never have dreamed of this, right? It's been mad to watch. And, everyone's been waiting. Okay, here's the good run. When's going to be that patch, that because Arsenal always do it. You have these runs, Emery went under that massive unbeaten streak. Arteta, I think either last season or season before, massive winning streak or unbeaten streak. We're just waiting. Okay, when is that period where they start to crumble, where they start to face those teams where they're expecting to beat and they're losing? And it hasn't happened. There's been a few just the tiniest blips, but it's been the ability to bounce back that has been key. The signings have been spot on. The transfer window, that's a massive key. Is getting those signings, getting the Jesus in, getting flipping, Zinchenko. I know he massively messed up against
Saliba came back also. That was
yes,
massive.
bringing Saliba back. There was a lot of question marks of whether he would come back. What's going to happen with him? It's but keeping players fit. It's the avoiding a lot of injuries. I know Jesus was injured. Obviously, Eddie Nketiah stepped in and he stepped up big time when Jesus went out. So there's not been as many disasters with injuries, and I wonder if that's luck or also by design, because I see when Partey's going away in international duty, Arsenal's sending coaches or whatever with him. So I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes that they've been able to do to manage injuries, or you've just been lucky with injuries, maybe a little bit of both. So
you said the word lucky. I hear that word a lot this season. People in the chat also, let me know. We're lucky to have 70 of you guys in the chat right now. Make sure you hit that like button, guys, and also go check out West Ham Fan TV. That's where you do most of your football content. Am I wrong?
Yes, yep. West Ham Fan TV. I've got a preview with Troops up on there. So yeah, you can check that out. He's obviously loving life. But you say luck, but Arteta actually used the word luck recently, and he said, he said you have to have and it's true. Luck is a big part of football. It's huge, and when you have it, you have to capitalize on that luck. You have to make the most of it. So it's crucial. I think he said it in the press conference or in one of the interviews leading up to this game. It's being lucky and utilizing that luck. And you can say that and injuries, sometimes injuries is a luck thing, and you can be unlucky with injuries. We saw Man United the other day. You'd look at that and go, wow, to lose both centre backs in one game, that's unlucky. So yeah, luck I think plays a factor for every team. But it just depends how big of a factor it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? We've been quite fortunate with injuries, but we do have an injury right now that we need to discuss. William Saliba. He has been one of the best players that for us this season, and William Saliba unfortunately has been confirmed that he will not play against West Ham. He has not trained, and he has not come back from training yet. So William Saliba will be out, but Eddie Nketiah will be back. And with this Eddie Nketiah part, I wanted to discuss Eddie Nketiah in a second after I'm done with Saliba. But what do you think about Saliba, man? Saliba is looking like the real deal. 22 years old, my guy, and he is looking like a top center back. We paid 35 million for him when he was 18 or something like that. We had him on loan for 3 years. He's come into the team now. It seems like it's the best thing we've ever done for him. I am so impressed by how William Saliba has been able to come into the Premier League and acclimatize to it like nothing I've ever seen before. Most people struggle to coming into the Premier League, but Saliba as a young centre back, don't forget he's only 20 years old. I think at this moment in time, is he 20? Yeah, I think he's 20 years old. The guy's 20 years old, bro, and
Did he sign the new deal?
No, not yet. He's 22. He hasn't signed a new deal yet, but we don't have to really worry about that. I really do believe it's going to get sorted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's had an amazing season. A few mistakes here and there, but he's going to make mistakes at that age. It's a learning process. You have to make mistakes to evolve and to grow. But ultimately, he's been good beyond these years. You know what I mean? He's got for as young as he is, he's got that physicality and that strength that you need for the Premier League already.
Yeah.
So, and I think that loan obviously done him some wonders because he was good in France.
Look at this. Saliba, 1.3 goals conceded since he's been injured. Previous to his injury, 0.93 goals.
How long is he expected to be out for?
he could be back against West Ham, but the problem is I'm hearing rumors that on Twitter, of course, and like people tweeting out stuff. We don't know if it's 100% accurate or not, but people are saying that it could be a serious injury where it's a back injury, and back injuries are no problem, no joke, because that's your whole motor system. You can't really move too much with a back injury. And I've even heard something about him potentially needing surgery, but after a second analysis, he doesn't need surgery, and that he could be back before the end of the season. They're going to manage him, but it is what it is. I don't know how they're going to approach the whole situation with him. I think it's generally just going to be a situation where if we can get him to play against Man City, that one game maybe, and get him back fit before that game. We wanted to protect him until then, but when the report came out a couple of weeks ago, they said several week injury. Yeah, a back injury can end your season 100%.
It can massively affect, depending how severe it is. It can massively affect your career for the long term. So hopefully, you're like, it's nothing like that. You know what I mean? Hopefully, you can come back 100%. Like, I'm no Arsenal fan, but a young player as he is, you want him to have a good long career.
You know what? There is a player that Arsenal are looking to sell, and you've been linked to him, and you know where I'm gonna go probably. But it looks like Eddie Nketiah has been linked to West Ham numerous times. He's been linked to you guys numerous times in the past. And this is where I go to the portion of the show where I start trying to sell you players. It's not so I'm gonna ask you some of my Arsenal players. Let me know. Would you take Eddie Nketiah?
You know what? Like last season, I was like, maybe I'd take him. Like, could be good, but it's a gamble, it's a risk. After seeing the way he stepped up when Jesus got injured and seeing him play, I was like, wow, like, do you know what? Like, fair play. He's got some hunger about him. He's got some energy. And because the problem was, like, last season, when he had chances, like, he's finishing, like, the amount of chances he wasted in front of the goal, I was just like, nah, I don't know. Like, this guy, he's not going to get the chances at West Ham that he gets at Arsenal. And then, like, he seemed to have worked on that this season. He was much more clinical. So Troops goes to me, what about 80 million plus Nketiah? And I was like, do you know what? Like for Rice, that is, sorry, 80 million plus Nketiah for Rice. And I was like, do you know what? I think I'd actually take that,
80 million, so 80 M's plus Eddie Nketiah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I like that. I like that. So you're basically valuing Eddie Nketiah at how much based on what you think?
Well, if we was paying like straight cash for Nketiah, I would look at him and go like 30 mil, right? 30 odd mil. If you was to be asking me for straight cash for Rice, if as a club, our asking price is 100 mil. So I'm valuing it as the whole deal would say like 110 mil, but because it's a player plus cash, I'm bringing down the price. So it's, what I mean? I'm saying 80 million plus Nketiah. Whereas if you ask for cash, I'm asking for 100 mil. If you're asking just for cash for Nketiah,
I was just gonna ask you a bunch of Arsenal players who you take, but that right there, we got to throw that question to the chat. People in the chat, let me know. 80 million plus Nketiah for Declan Rice. Who says no? I don't say no to that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Eddie Nketiah could get us probably 25, 30. But if you're going to give us Declan Rice plus 80 million, I think you're getting the better end of the deal based on the fact that the fact you're getting a player in a position that you need, plus you're getting 80 million. You can now identify and sign another player to address that. But let me ask you this: Declan Rice or Caicedo? Is Caicedo overrated in your opinion, or because a lot of people are saying Declan Rice is overrated and we should get Caicedo because Declan Rice is not as good as Caicedo? Everyone keeps comparing Caicedo and Declan Rice. You can see here right now that Declan Rice is likely to come. These terrible journalists, clickbait, la 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 la. I like he's bang average. I thought I preferred Caicedo. Personally, I don't think he's average, but you hear this every day probably that Declan Rice is average. There's better players than him in the league. When you hear stuff like that, what do you say to yourself?
I've been hearing it for years. It's the same thing because like Declan Rice is so clearly, a quality player and everyone sings his praises. It's cool. It's the hipster thing to find another player. Before it was Basuma, yeah? Oh, yeah, no, why? Don't go and get Rice. Go and get Basuma. right? I've seen it time and time again. What was the player? What was the player that you had that you signed that you sold to Marseille? Arteta got rid of. He fell out of Arteta. Was it Marseille?
Oh,
You sold him?
Guendouzi.
Guendouzi, yeah. Rice is just Guendouzi's quality. Newcastle fans, Sean Longstaff is a good player, and Rice is shit. Like they always find these players that they want to say is better than Rice because and Rice is overrated. Caicedo is the latest flavor of the month now. He's the guy that's just burst onto the scene. We don't hear. When was the last time you heard about Basuma, who was better than Rice, who's better value, and everyone should go out and get.
Never
Basuma.
heard of him since he
No.
went to Tottenham.
Exactly. And it's going to be the same thing like Caicedo. Right, Declan Rice, I'm telling you, is a top quality player. If he can't be considered world class now, he will be considered world class one day. He is. I watch week in, week out. He is that good.
So people are saying Caicedo, Colombian by the way, is worth 80 to 90 mil. So what does that make Declan Rice worth to you?
He's got to be. Look, everyone knows there's English tax. That's just the way it is. Whether you like it or not, we have English tax. Just by that fact alone, he's worth more. He is one of the first names in the England team. Fact. Starts every game. I said, look, we might not be able to say he's world class now. I'm telling you, but one day he will be considered world class.
Do you consider bukayo saka world class?
Again, I think for both of them, I think he will be one day considered world class. I think they're both young. I want to see, season after season, but I think he is heading in that world class direction. At the moment, you probably say that's the thing. I don't know what the definition is, like the one below world class, but both of them, like Rice and Saka.
Would you consider elite above world class or below world class?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because by the word elite, it makes it sound like it's a very few players. Like
okay, so superstar.
Yeah, like you see, you get like your Mbappes and your Haalands. I think they're
they're elite.
They're elite. They're like above world class, like to me.
But you know what? Everyone has their own way of doing it. Personally, for me, world class is like a category of people in a position. You're world class because you're in that position. You're in that category. But some people do it as in you're only world class if you get into every team in the world in your position. So I'm like,
I think it shouldn't be that if you start. I feel like it's. Yeah, you could hold your like any team. Like you're good enough to play for Real Madrid. You're good enough to play for Barcelona, for Bayern Munich, for Man City. Like whether you look at them teams and go, well, would you start over him, and him is immaterial, right? Because
let's ask the chat. 1 second, let's just ask the chat, guys. Let me know what you think world class is, and does Declan Rice or bukayo saka fit your bill for that?
Yeah, because if it's would get into every team in the league, right? Would start for every team in the league. There's only one world-class striker because who's getting into Man City over Haaland?
No one.
Right.
So exactly. Not world-class.
So yeah, exactly. So for me, he's good enough. You're good enough to start for every single team in the world. You're world class. Do you know what I mean? And
so you use the word world class when you win the World Cup, but Cristiano Romero is not world class. He's average.
Yeah, and there's players that haven't. Well, like Haaland is never going to win the World Cup ever.
Is Kane world class, Egal? I just said he is. You can. There's exceptions to the rules. If you do it for 10 plus years at a top level, then you got. Even though you don't have trophies, you can be put in that conversation slightly.
Consistency is key to be world, and that's why I'm hesitant to say like Saka or Rice because they're still young players. I want to see how they go when they're hitting their peak years.
Okay. Let me throw some names at you. Would you take Pepe?
Nah, man. How much wages did you? Because like I know you paid him big fee, but the wages must be mad on pay. I think it's like 250 grand.
No. Like 150 or something like that.
150, yeah. Nah, like.
What about let's just quick fire. What about Rob Holding?
At West Ham, it depends on the deal, but obviously Obonna's getting older. We lost Dawson, so yeah, if the deal was right, I guess I'd take Rob Holding. I wouldn't
Ainsley Maitland-Niles. By the way, he's a good midfielder and a right back.
Yeah, do you know what? we actually are going to be we need a right back. We do need a right back. And yeah, he was obviously been in and out of your team. What was that game where he come back in and he scored that banging goal? Like,
Oh, you're talking about Reece Nelson?
oh, Reece Nelson, Maitland-Niles. Who was Maitland-Niles linked with though?
Maitland now is on loan at Southampton. He's the one that scored the.
Yeah. Oh, he's at Southampton. Yeah, he's at Southampton. Yeah. Yeah, actually. Yeah. Do you know what? Either right back. Yeah, I would take it.
You would take him? You take Reece Nelson also?
Yeah, Reece. Do you know what? I do like Maitland-Niles, but I think if I had offer, yeah, I would take Reece Nelson. I wouldn't say like both of them, but I'd take one or the
Would
other.
you take? Do you guys need a goalkeeper? We'll throw you Rennerson for free.
Nah, listen, Fabianski's probably retiring, but I don't know what wages you've got him on to be a backup keeper for us.
Nah, Rennerson, we got him for $1 million. The guy's terrible. He conceded 4 goals in his opening game. Never played again. Hilarious.
No.
What else we got? Lokonga. He's at Crystal Palace right now. Would you take Lokonga?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Like, he's awful, man. He's terrible.
Man said hell no to Lokonga. Okay. Yeah. People, give me names.
Like, do you know what I was saying? I've said to a few Arsenal, like, lead judges, all them others I was on, like, about Tierney.
Elneny's a good player. He's a really good player. Like, no joke. I actually like Elneny. Elneny's one of my favorite Arsenal players.
Really?
Yeah, he's just so humble. He's obviously, because he's the same like religion as I am, and I always see him posting a lot of religious stuff. So it's like more personal for me.
Yeah.
He's one of those players where he will come on 92nd minute substitution, run for the whole 5 minutes, and then sub off and clap the fans. That's the guy.
Yeah. No, he seems like a great guy, but listen, I want to see what he's like on the pitch, like playing wise. But how old is he now? Because he seems like he's been around forever.
How old is Elneny?
I bet he's going to be like, he's younger than you think he is. To me, I'd be getting.
He's 30.
Like, he's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying
he's 1 year younger than me.
Like, again, someone said in the chat, like, Kieran Tierney, right? And I threw that out, and they was all like, nah, Tierney won't come. But it's just because when you look at it, I think Tierney's going to have to get moved. Like, it seems like Arteta is set on Zinchenko being his first choice. Tierney, he's surely got to look at it and go, I want to be starting like every week. And if he's, on the fringes, he's going to need a move, whether that's to us or he thinks he's going to, maybe Newcastle might go for him. But I would take him. But I know Arsenal fans love him, but I think I think he needs to move.
He's too injury prone.
That is the big problem. Yes. That's the big down point for me, because we have had a lot of injury-prone players over the years. But if it weren't for that, man, I really do rate him. I think he's a quality player. Someone said Balogun, right? I was asked about this, I think, on Lee Judge's thing about Balogun.
Do you trust the French league?
No, but the thing is, we're linked with Will Still, who is his manager. That's the manager for
the Rennes manager or Nice or whatever.
Yeah, and because he's a massive West Ham fan, he was that guy that he's 30 years old, this manager, and he went unbeaten in all of these games. He took them from relegation battle to like European challenge. So he wants to manage West Ham. So if we got him and Will Still could be a good package.
Nobody's touching Emile Smith Rowe, man.
Do you know what? Like, I really don't know about his future at Arsenal, Emile Smith Rowe. He was looked at, like him and Saka were looked at on a par, like at one point, was like, yes, these two star boys coming through academy, all of that stuff, right? Saka has left him in the dust, and he's had some injuries. And I just
he's older too. He's 22.
He's 22, like, yeah. So I can't see Smith Rowe becoming a regular starter at Arsenal. I just can't see it. He's had some. Listen, I remember he's at the Emirates, that fucking game where we was beating you, and then obviously I think you took the lead, and then it was like, I think it was winning 1-0, then it went to 2-1, and then he put the third goal in, like that counter attack. But I just don't think he's, especially for where you are now. If we're talking Arsenal last season before that, yeah. But if you want to be this levels, I'm sorry, I don't think he's that level.
Let me know, people, what you guys think Emile Smith Rowe's future is. But yeah, we're gonna just move on now to the fun stuff. We're gonna look at some of the previous games. What is the first game that comes to your memory? Arsenal, West Ham. For me, if I go far back, I could go far back, like Memphis Depay free kick, right? Uh, I swear he scored a free kick against them. Am I tripping? No, I don't think he scored a free kick against us. I'm just thinking West Ham, and I'm thinking first thing is a free kick from Memphis Depay. I'm sick, but you know what I mean. Them days when you guys had Memphis Depay, that guy was a problem. What year was that?
No, we didn't. I don't think we had Memphis Depay.
Not Memphis Depay. I'm talking about Why am I talking about Memphis Depay for? I'm talking about the guy who played for France, winger, killed it for you guys.
It's about Mohamed Diame.
No, not Diaby. The guy, what's his name? West Ham free kick. First name that comes to your mind. Who is it?
Oh, Payet. Oh, Dimitri Payet.
Dimitri Payet. What year was that?
2015-16 season. Yeah, 2015. That was the season where we first game
You
of the season.
You beat us 2-0 at the Emirates.
Yes. First game of the season. Whoo! Like,
do you remember that team? Do you remember that team, bro? Your team was. Look at your team back then. Let me show you your team back then. This is what I do nowadays with everyone. Guys, get ready. This is reminisce time. Okay, we're just going to be looking at some of the fixtures.
I think Zarate scored. Yeah, that was the game Oxford pocketed Ozil, if I remember rightly.
So and you had Oxford. Reece Oxford. What happened to Reece Oxford?
Yeah, man. He's someone who we was looking at him like he was going to be the Declan Rice. Like he came before Declan Rice. He was our Declan Rice at the time.
He was a wonder kid on Football Manager.
Yeah, man. And I think he just had the wrong agent. But
that was the year Adrian scored the wonder goal as a goalkeeper for fun. What?
Yeah, he went to Liverpool and won the Champions League and the league and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Cresswell just a couple years ago was a baller. What happened to Cresswell?
I think he's just aged out. You know, and
look at this team. Not one player in this team is still in our squad, but you still have players in your squad.
We still have. Well, no. The only the only player we have is Ogbonna and Cresswell. Kouyaté and Tompkins went to Palace.
Lanzini?
Noble retired. Oh, Lanzini. Yeah, Lanzini. We still have. Freaking hell. Arteta was in your team.
Yep. Arteta was in our team.
Yeah, Collins, like some of those players that we had retired, but yeah, Sacco, man, he was. I loved Sacco, but he was just a bit all over the place up there.
This was the game Martin Odegaard became the Martin Odegaard that we know now. This game was the game where Martin.
This flipping game, man!
What a game! Oh my God, how the hell did we come back? How did we come back?
You don't realize, yeah. We was 3-0 up, yeah, and then you came back and got 3-3. The week after that, we did the same, I think, against Wolves, 3-0 up, and then we went against Leicester, we went 3-0 up, and they scored 2. I think it was something like that. So we went 3-0 up 3 games in a row, and ruined it for the most part, or nearly ruined it.
People talking about Alexis chip. Listen, I'm just gonna say this game was. First of all, give a round of applause to lock down Jesse Lingard. That guy was a beast. Ben Rama massively underperformed for you guys ever since he's come in. I'm disappointed in him. I thought he was going to be better than Bowen. Antonio fell off a cliff. This guy used to be an FPL legend. Fantasy football, every year, every game you'd have Antonio. He would just overperform his XG and his expected assists every game. And back then, bukayo saka actually was playing left wing. He finally started playing forward. And look at our defense. Our defense is terrible. Pablo Mari, David Luiz, Callum Chambers, Leno. This team, besides Saka, Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard, no one else is in this team starts anymore.
Aubameyang, right wing. Yeah, mad.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy when you actually look back at the lineups. It's quite interesting to look back on and see, wow, okay, that's what we would do.
How far back do you think we should go to your game? What game do you want to talk about?
Let's see. Well, we obviously had the distinction of being the last team at Emirates, first team at Highbury. I'm trying to remember what year it was, the Bobby Zamora year where we beat you at your ground. I mean, it was like 3. We beat you at the Emirates like 3-2 or 3, something like that. Jeez, boy, it's probably too far back.
I can only go as far as 2010 on here. So
Okay, no, it
you
must be after that.
so
I'm
you
sure
got
we
2010 1-0 Arsenal win. 2013 we got 5-1 Arsenal win.
2006. Jeez.
2014 we got a 3-1 win. 2015 we got a 3-0 win. The one that we already spoke about was a 5-2 win. But let's go away
You know the
game.
one that pissed me off, yeah, was I think it was 2014, December 28th. Yeah, that 2-1. We had what's his name? Oh, he played Song. We had Alex Song, and I think yes, he scored, and the goal was ruled out for offside through interfering with play. It was the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. The goal should have stood. I'll never forget that. Alex Song. I
This was
loved. I thought
pre-VAR.
Yeah, that was pre-VAR. Yeah, it was. And I think VAR probably would have done us a job. Bloody hell, Joey O'Brien at right
I
back.
can't believe Tompkins still playing at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I didn't want to sell him because he came for our academy. I love Tompkins, but yeah, man, he's had a long career. But
Just looking at our fixtures head to heads, like we win almost all of them. You've won 2 recently. That's
yeah,
crazy. When was the last other win? Because we already spoke about that one. When was the other win that you guys won?
you talk about
I
the
can't.
one when Declan Rice scored the winner with Nasri assist.
When was that?
That was Nasri, so it must have been 3 years ago. It was two. Was it? It was at our ground. 1-0, yeah, the 1-0, 2019.
This team must
Declan
be shit.
Rice.
Yo,
Yes.
what kind of team is that? Mustafi Kalazinac. Oh my days. Okay, let me show you something. Leno's not there. Kashani's not there. Socrates is not there. Mustafi's not there. Ainsley's not there. Ganduzi's not there. Xhaka's the only player in this whole team still in our
Yeah,
squad.
that's crazy. That is crazy. We had Zabaleta still at that point. Yeah, Nasri. I thought Nasri was good, but he just barely played. He wasn't fit. But yeah, he got that assist. And I was saying to a few people like Declan Rice, for you Arsenal fans, if he repeats what he did that day, scores a banger to win the game, Arsenal fans going to be still twerking as hard for Rice if he scores the winner against you, potentially cost you the league.
Listen, I don't think we're too worried about that right now. Professionalism in football exists, so we understand that he's doing a job for his club where he's a captain. But let's look at the teams that I think are going to be fielded. This is the team that they're predicting you're going to field, and this is the team that they're predicting I'm going to field. We got Ramsdale, White, Holding, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli. The only position that we might change is that Jesus position. And when it comes to injuries, Saliba might be back after this game, but everyone else is out. And for you, you only have one injury, Skamaka. What happened to
Yeah.
Skamaka?
Yeah, he's been riddled with injuries. Obviously, as well, we don't really suit Moyes' way of playing. I don't know why Moyes signed him, to be honest. It's just been a horrible season for him. And
Okay.
yeah, now he's probably not going to play again for this season. Really
Wow.
bad. But yeah, I mean,
Hopefully
looking at
next
that,
game, yeah.
they're saying we're going to play a 4-3-3. I could really see a back five. With Aguerd, so Bonner, Zuma, Aguerd, personally, I think that we're going to go defensive. I can see it. I think we did play a back five against Gent on Thursday, and that seemed to be a bit of a prep for this game. So to me, it would be like the back five. So Creswell, Sufal, Zuma, Bonner, Aguerd, and then Rice, Paqueta with Antonio. Yeah, so Souček would come out. And then, yeah, I'd play Cornet for the pace on the counter, Antonio Bowen, yeah.
Okay, so you make 2 changes or 3 changes to this team?
Yeah, so the changes I'd make is Souček off for Aguerd. So Souček out, Aguerd centre back. That's cool.
Continue.
And then Fornals, so 2 changes, and then Fornals for Cornet for the pace.
Yeah.
Because we need to, I feel like we're going to have to approach this game defensively and so got pressure, but we need to have something to offer on the counter attack to give you guys something to worry about. So you can't just press too high up, throw all your players up and just have us pinned back. Like if we give you something to worry about, then what I mean, it takes a bit of pressure off, so we're not completely pinned back. I think that's key. We can't just throw it at you. Ty was like, yeah, the teams, obviously Ty FT was like, yeah, the teams that come at us, have done well, like Liverpool and Man City, and it's like we're not Liverpool or Man City. We're gonna have to do like Newcastle, played sort of low block defensive shithouse sort of football. Everton, that's what we're gonna have to do is frustrate you. If we try and take it to Arsenal, it's not gonna end well for us.
Okay. By the way, just to let you know, you have a 10% chance of getting relegated based off of up to stats. So it's very unlikely.
10%.
10%.
I wonder if we've got a higher percent or lower percent of winning the game tomorrow or getting a result.
And you have just so you know, you have a 0.2% chance of finishing last in the league. Your odds of winning the game tomorrow, let me show you. So these are the Opta probabilities to winning the game, drawing, and losing. People, let me know your predictions in the chat as we get into the prediction portion of the show. So 28.9%, 28.8% chance of winning, almost 30% chance of drawing, and Arsenal have about a 42% chance of winning. I don't know how they work that out.
Yeah, we have more of a chance of winning. We have 0.4 more of a chance of winning than drawing. I thought we'd have more of a chance of drawing than winning.
I don't know how OptaStats work this out, but I guess they're factoring in the fact that Arsenal go for games and we leave things open. So if the game is tight, we're gonna probably go for it. And if the game is not, and if the game is tight and we go for it, you could catch us in the counter. I don't know how they work that out, but let me show you another percentage odds that they have. These percentage odds, you never know, man. They're not They're not bookmakers. Bookmakers have us as, wow, you guys are 6.5 to 1 odds to win.
6.5 to 1.
Yeah,
that's better than I thought it would be.
What, 6.5 to 1?
Yeah, I thought it'd be worse than that.
Arsenal are 1.3 to 1. So we for every pound we give up, we only get 50p.
Geez, so yeah, that's not worth it for people that like to bet. It's not worth it, mate.
Yeah, so they have 66% chance Arsenal win, 20% chance you win, 13% chance of a draw. So that's about 30,000 votes. So that's fans voting, not like actual bookmakers.
Oh right, yeah.
But let's get into the predictions. Let's see what who scored has as their prediction. Personally, for me, I think we need goal difference to go up, but I don't know if we're gonna get that many goals against you guys. I don't know how many goals you guys have been conceding lately. I don't know how bad your defense has been. How bad has your defense been? Because we need as many goals as possible.
Yeah, for the most part, our defense has been pretty good. There's only 2 games where we've conceded really more than 2 goals, and that was Newcastle the 5-1 and Brighton the 4-0. Apart from that, every other game, it's been, we haven't been losing by huge margins. So yeah, especially if we're going to approach this game with a back 5, I don't see this is famous last words. I don't see us if we lose getting massively slapped where you're going to put like 4 5s and we're getting into that sort of territory.
We need the goal difference for in the case that we can try to catch up on goal difference with City. But yeah, just before we wrap up, let me know what your score predictions are, people in the chat. People saying 4-1 Arsenal. I personally need a clean. I want a clean sheet. But I also need a high goal scoring list. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of goals from you guys. I agree. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win. I think it's going to be a situation where we bury the game off late in the game, but you guys put us under pressure for majority of the game to score your first and equalize. But I don't think you guys score. We haven't had a clean sheet in a long time. Majority of our clean sheets come away from home, and in London derbies this season, we haven't conceded a goal away. We've played at Brentford, didn't concede. Chelsea didn't concede. Tottenham didn't concede. Fulham didn't concede. Crystal Palace didn't concede. And now if we come to you and we don't concede, that's going to be the first time in English football history that a London side has gone away to all the London derby rivals and won with clean sheets. So we're going for history here.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna say, look, I've done this on every Arsenal preview I've done over the past few days. This is like number 5, so I have to try and be consistent. My heart says 1-1. My heart says 1-1. My head says 3-1 Arsenal. Like, if I was betting money on it, right, I would put, a neutral probably. And it hurts to say this, 3-1 to Arsenal, but I'm gonna hope we get that 1-1. Like, if we win it, I'm going crazy. I've already said Moyes is gonna be my profile picture for a week. I'm gonna have a ceasefire with Moyes. I'm not gonna say nothing against him for the rest of it if we somehow win this game. It would be insane. But a draw would still be a huge result. Massively disastrous for Arsenal. A draw. Arsenal have to win this game. No two ways about it.
Let me know. Do you think we can win the league?
Yeah, look, I think you can. I'm less confident about you winning the league than I was before the Liverpool game. Yeah, just because it's put it also in Man City's hand. Like, if Man City win every single game, they win the league, right? And it's not necessarily that they're gonna win every single game, but you need to be perfect. Like, that's the thing. So as much as you've still got that bit of distance, it's going to be all on that game at the Etihad. Like, you have to go to the Etihad and get something, which is going to be hard. Like, can you? Yes. But at the moment, I'd say it's looking 50-50.
Okay, fair enough. People in the chat, we've had over 138 votes. They think Arsenal's going to win by 75% of the voters. But of course, it is a heavy Arsenal base. And I'm just going to ask everyone in the chat, do you guys think West Ham can win the Conference League? I know you're down in the first leg. Do you think you can come back and win still?
Yeah, obviously it was a draw, 1-1. So that's a knockout game. But the fact that it's at home gives us a bit of an advantage. But we have to play much better because I think we can get to the final because Anderlecht to win at the moment. We beat them twice earlier in the season. But Fiorentina are probably going to be the team that we face in the final. And they're a very sort of tough team. We have to really improve if we want to win this trophy because they're going to be hard to beat. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can do it. It's just hard, man. It's hard to see with the way we're playing.
Europe is hit or miss, man. Europe is hit or miss. Sometimes you need the manager that are known to win in Europe because Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers, but he can't even do it for Man City. It's crazy. But you know what, guys? I'm going to end it off here. You guys have yourselves a great one. Big up Egal. Need Arsenal to win the Prem. Man United fan. Big up to you, man. Even Man United fans are rooting for us because they need us to stop Man City from getting that treble. They're actually on for a treble, and they could get a three-peat. So it's mad.
Oh, if they do it all in one season, that would be crazy. It would be crazy to see that.
Bro, if they win the Champions League, let alone get anything else, is going to be crazy because they've never gotten that, right? That's the one thing they've been missing. I'm telling you right now, Man City win a Champions League, they're going to start chatting shit to us. That's how big they're going to try to act. It is what it is.
We'll just be happy that Tottenham didn't beat Liverpool in that Champions League final all those years ago, man.
Bro, we lost the Europa League to Chelsea that year.
Oh, yeah. That was the season. Oh, my God. It would have been long.
Mental. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I think they were going to do a parade if it wasn't for like, I don't know. They were going to do a parade regardless if they lost.
That's Tottenham for you.
That is. I hope Arsenal doesn't do anything stupid like that.
What if you come second and you do a parade?
I swear to God, if we do that, it's the most embarrassing thing ever. But it is what it is. We can't do that. Because I seen that they filed to get a parade in London. They already put in submitted the forms. So if we don't get the league and we still have the time requested to do the thing, I'm worried that they're actually going to try to do a parade regardless if we win or lose. And if that happens, embarrassing settings. But we would never do that. I agree. We would never do that. Egal, respect Lawless. Come on, goodness. Yeah, man. Big up, respect Lawless, guys. Come on. And don't forget to like and subscribe, bro. We're out of here, people. You guys have a good one. Dan, first time on the channel. Appreciate you coming on. Great conversation.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And we're out of here, people.